Hello and welcome. My name is Sheryl Stanton, and thank you so much for investing your precious time and energy to sit down and watch this video. You've made a wise decision, and I promise you that it's going to be well worth your while. As I promised before, I'm going to be taking you through a few videos that will introduce you to the 3 massive mistakes even smart women make that keep them overstressed, unhappy, and unhealthy. But more importantly, I'm going to be showing you why even the smartest of women make these 3 mistakes in the first place. I'll also reveal the true cause of the problem, and more important, I'll share with you what you can do about it, how you can eliminate the things you don't want and start attracting to you what you do want with grace and ease. We're going to be spending some time together over the next few videos, so I thought I'd take a moment to tell you a little about who I am and why the heck you should listen to me in the first place. I'm 61 years old and have been married to the same good man for 41 years. I have 6 children, 2 girls and 4 boys, and as of this moment, I have 7.5 grandchildren. I've been a student of motivation and personal growth for 35 years, and have studied under some of the motivational greats: Bob Proctor, Brian Tracy, Stephen Covey. I did the 20-foot fire walk with Tony Robbins, walking on red-hot coals in your bare feet. Once you've done that, not too much else frightens you. So for my 54th birthday, I jumped out of a plane, skydiving at age 54. I've been a registered nurse for 38 years. I'm a stress relief specialist, author, speaker, trainer, and workshop leader. I live a happy, full life. I manage a lot of things, but I'm doing it with grace and a whole lot of peace. But it wasn't always that way for me. I was married halfway through nursing school to my husband, Alan, who had just started university. 1 month after I graduated as a nurse, I got pregnant with our first child, and then 2.5 years later, I was pregnant again. I then proceeded to have 4 boys in 4 years, each born 16 months apart. Our 3rd son, David, was born with a rare form of muscular dystrophy. The form of muscular dystrophy David faced meant that the nerve impulses could not get through his spinal column from his brain to the rest of his body. So although he was very bright and verbal, he had almost no physical control of his body. He could not walk, he could only sit all slumped over. And if he lost his balance, he would fall over hard with his face by his feet. Whatever position you put him in was the position he stayed in until someone else physically moved him. And although he had many physical limitations, his biggest problem was that he couldn't cough. So if any of the other children got a cold, he got pneumonia and would have to be hospitalized. David had no prognosis, and we never knew in the morning if he would still be with us at the end of the day. And we lived that way until at the age of 7, David died. I felt such unbelievable guilt and grief and remorse with the death of my son, but I didn't have the luxury to look after my own needs. Too many people were depending on me, so I had to bury my grief and keep on going. 2 months after David's death, my husband and I became foster parents for a 9-year-old special needs child with serious problems. He had not lasted longer than 6 months in any other home he had been in, but we kept him for 5 years. And 2 months after our foster son arrived, I was pregnant again. And 1 month after our daughter was born, we brought our foster son's 2 sisters into our home. I now had 8 children, 8 children, 3 of whom had serious emotional problems. Who in their right mind would do that? No one. But I wasn't in my right mind. 2 years later, I thought I was having a nervous breakdown and went for counseling. And the counselor asked me why we had taken and brought this foster boy and kept him in our home. And I thought about it and realized it was because I believed that I had failed David. So here was another handicapped child, another chance to redeem myself. But he wasn't David. And for 5 years, I had lived with the guilt of believing that I was failing this child too. But I kept on keeping on, doing what I had to do. I got through each day trying to meet everyone else's needs, not even aware of what was happening to me. Do you remember earlier when I said that my husband had just started going to university when we were married? Now, please don't take this as a criticism of my husband. He worked part-time while he was going to school. And when he graduated the first time with an arts degree, he couldn't get a job. So he went back to school and got a teaching certificate. Unfortunately, this was in 1980 during a recession, and there were no teaching jobs anywhere. So he went back to university again, and this time he got a diploma in special education. And after substituting for several years, he finally got a full-time teaching contract. But the end result was that we lived on an insecure income for 17 years with all of those children. And in my mind, it became my job to find a way to get what we needed. I was really good at it, but it was such a heavy burden. I felt like I was an octopus being stretched in a dozen different directions with my never-ending to-do list and everyone needing me to do something for them. And that was my life until one day my body just shut down. Overnight, I went from being able to doing everything to being able to doing nothing. For 3 months, I was in bed, watching my world crumble around me. The drugs the doctors gave me didn't work, and I was told that I was going to have to accept a limited lifestyle. I was 45 years old. That was not something I was willing to do. So I started searching, and I went outside of Western medicine because they had no answers for me. For 8 years, I studied many complementary health and energy therapy courses, and they were all worthwhile, and I gained something from each of them. But the turning point came in my life when I learned about and started to apply a healing modality called emotional freedom technique, also called EFT or tapping. Studying EFT helped me realize why I got sick in the first place. And it wasn't my son's death or having all of those children or no money. I learned that what had caused me to be overstressed, unhappy, and dissatisfied all of my life was the negative belief systems I'd had since my early childhood. They had driven every aspect of my life, and I didn't even know they were there. It wasn't the circumstances of my life. It was the limiting negative beliefs about myself. And with the help of a skilled EFT practitioner and my own efforts, I was able to release those negative belief systems. And now I am living the kind of life I'd only dreamed of before. I finally have inner peace, joy, and fulfillment. I am finally free to succeed in life. And I am. It was so meaningful for me when I held my first published book in my hands. I'd actually written 3 books before, but I'd never done anything with them because in my mind I didn't believe that anyone would want to read anything I'd written. I have since written 4 books and created 4 DVD courses. And looking around, I saw that my story was not unique, that most people were experiencing different variations of the same negative belief systems that had controlled my life and happiness. And I just had to share. So I took every EFT course I could find, and for the last 6 years, I've been working as a private stress relief specialist, speaker, trainer, and workshop leader. And daily, I see the same miracles in the lives of my clients and workshop attendees that I experienced myself. And I rejoice with them as I watch them reclaim their own personal power, restore their peace, joy, and happiness, and rebuild their lives the way they want to live them. I can't begin to tell you how soul satisfying it is for me to be a part of their personal growth and healing. In May at the Hotel Vancouver in front of 700 women, I was chosen to receive the Women of Worth Health and Wellness Award for 2010. It was a great honor. But what made it even more meaningful is that it was 2 of my private clients who nominated me. I was also chosen to be the Cambridge Who's Who Directory Outstanding Professional of the Year in the field of stress relief coaching, training, and public speaking for 2011. So thank you so much for listening to my story. I hope that it's given you an understanding of where I'm coming from, and that you can trust that the information I'm going to be sharing with you in these videos is based on a lot of experience and education. So that's enough about me. Let's get back to why you're watching these videos. Over the next few videos, I'm going to be sharing with you the 3 major mistakes most people make in life. Mistakes that in most cases they don't even know they are making. Then I'm going to give you some practical things that you can start to implement right away to eliminate them. Now, if you signed up for this video series and you got an email from me that sent you to this page, then what you're going to do is watch your inbox carefully. You'll be getting another email very shortly that will have the second video in the series. In that video, I'm going to be going over the 3rd and the 2nd biggest mistakes that even smart women make that keep them overstressed, unhappy, and unhealthy. If you came across this video through a friend or through Facebook or some other means, then it is really important that you do the following. Please listen carefully. Right below this video, you're going to see that there's a place for you to put your first name and your email address. So go ahead and do it as soon as this video finishes. Put your first name and email address in the box below. That will ensure that you get access to the rest of the videos in this series. It will also ensure that you get the information and the strategies you need so that you can stop making the mistakes that are causing you to be overstressed, unhappy, and unhealthy. You'll also notice that there's a place right below that where you can leave questions, comments, or concerns about anything that you're facing in your life. Please leave a question, leave a comment. I'll be checking it daily and I'll get back to you, answering your questions and giving you information that you need to move on. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.